for too long, got to keep. But now everybody knows, got to keep.
You don't have to be retired to receive tax-free income. The problem is the vehicles that we've been conditioned to believe to help get us there were never designed to produce income.
Got to keep going. What you want to be, going, you will see. It's your destiny, be in harmony. We were never meant to be apart. What you want to be, going, you will see. You can have everything you want. It's your destiny, be in harmony. Ooh.
If you had a machine in your garage and all you had to do was put a quarter in it and it printed out $100, put a quarter in it, printed out $100, would you ever stop that machine from running?
But now everybody knows.
So what if you use that job that you hate as leverage to fill your machine so they can create income for you, so you don't have to worry about income?
You know where the world is gonna go. But now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long. Got to keep going.
Good evening. Get in here. We have something that we've very near and dear to our hearts that we're going to talk about tonight. This is something that is a bone Donnell consistently picks at, and it's because it's important. It's because structure matters. There's a word on the street that a solo 401k is something that people need to have, but a lot of people, I don't think, understand exactly how they function. Maybe they are using them. Maybe they've only used them in their use case, right? But this is something Donnell has been doing for decades. And so what we're going to talk about is, what are the differences? Why does it matter that you know the differences? And what else are we going to talk about?
You threw me off with the decades. You threw me off with the decades because you're right. I literally have been doing this for a long time, which is strange. So, okay, here's what it is. We talked a few days ago about the 401k being a scam and breaking down why it's not. Because it's really not the 401k that's the problem. The problem is who it's with, who controls it, who allows you or gives you permission to be able to access your funds. You strip away all of those things, and the 401k is actually a pretty powerful product. And I think in the process of doing that, again, the algorithms for all of the social media apps start flooding me with 401k conversations. And so what I'm seeing today is, hey, how to invest in real estate using your solo 401k, how to invest in real estate using your self-directed IRA. And what ends up happening is a lot of these people, a lot of these gurus who are talking about doing this, I don't want to say they don't know what they're talking about, because that's not true. I don't think they're taking into consideration the impact and the power that the structure of what it is they're telling you to use, like they don't understand the full breadth of the power of it. And so it kind of irritates me because they care less about whether or not you can access your funds effectively and more about how quickly can you get your funds into their thing. Like how quickly can you get your funds into their process? Like,
Right.
if you have to take a tax and penalty hit, who cares? I'm going to make you millions of dollars anyway. That's peanuts compared to what could possibly happen. Versus if they just focus on structure. And there are some very simple approaches to how to do this. So what we want to break down today is, what are those? I'll call it, how do you structure a retirement account properly to be able to invest in what it is you want?
This is the same conversation that a lot of people have around credit. They say, why would I want to use credit when credit has done nothing but horrible things to people that I know and love, and I don't want to be a part of that. Then there's the flip side of people who leverage credit, and they are able to make some significant moves because they have leverage and they understand how to use it, right? So is it credit that's bad, or is it how it's structured and what you're using it for? These conversations definitely need to change, and that's why we're out here talking about them, just simply because we can't continue with these narratives, because we have places to be, people, right?
Right.
We
And
have
we're running out of time.
That's right. We have places, we have goals we need to achieve for our families, and we're not going to be able to do that if we continue with these stigmas, or we are grabbing onto bits of information without the deep dives, without understanding how they function, so that we know how they fit inside of our machine, and so that we could build a machine. Like, that's equally as important. So for this particular conversation, we've talked about how the 401k isn't actually the problem. Your company's 401k, how they have it structured, and who's benefiting from that is, and asking yourself, is it helping you reach your goals? That is more of the problem. The vehicles that are already existing, though, there are people who are successfully using these vehicles because they understand why these vehicles exist in the first place, right? Why they were created. Right. And then all of the loopholes, all of the gray areas, all of the playground that they get to leverage, so that they can use them for multiple things. Some of those are those tax shelters, right?
Yeah,
some of those are the difference of how you have something structured and the amount of taxes or penalties that may come your way. And you won't know that in the beginning unless you understand how it works. Right. That's why, even though it feels like a fire hose over here, and this isn't like the 12-minute videos of all you got to do is, we have to do it this way because you have to have all the information. And when you are educated, you make confident decisions and strategic moves. And that's what we want. We want for you. You want that. You're here because you want that. We see all of you coming in the chat. We see you here before it even starts. And we know that you guys are out here soaking it up so that you can make these changes in your life. And so that's why we have to do these deep dives. This is where you'll find them. So you ready to jump in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Here we go.
So again, the objective today is to continue on our series around educating around self-directed retirement accounts, self-directed 401k, self-directed IRAs. Doesn't matter which one, because they're both capable of allowing you to hit your goal. And as I mentioned, we had already kind of talked through the power of the 401k kind of when we kind of went over this and really kind of broke down where the problem is. The problem's here. The problem isn't here. This vehicle is actually pretty powerful. And if you structure it right, you can do some pretty good things with it, whether you were talking tax deferred or tax free. Because again, we should all be trying to live in a Roth environment. And so we talked through, so what can you do then? Like, what are your options? And let's see how much I want to show. Let's go here first. What can you do? Obviously, the main objective or the main goal is just to be able to take control. What does it mean to be self-directed? Being self-directed just simply means taking control so that you can take action when you decide, versus someone having control over the decisions that you're wanting to make, because no one has the sense of urgency that you have. So therefore, you having more control over being able to take action allows you to be able to hit that time horizon as quickly as possible. So whether we're talking 10, 15 years, whatever that time frame would be. And so how do you do it? Well, it's being able to get your retirement dollars out of the casino and putting them in a position to where you can pay yourself first, immediately, in a place that's secure, compound your money, and then exponentially grow it. So what that kind of highlights is making sure we are paying attention to what is the goal. And in a lot of the, I'll call it information I've been served, large portion of the goal is, I understand where my 401k is today won't help me hit those objectives. My previous employer plan isn't really doing much for me. And I don't want my money locked up in an annuity, although there are some great annuities out there. I want more control over my dollars so that I can achieve, let's call it double-digit returns in real estate. I want to put my money in a position to where I can invest. I want to put my money in a position to where I can no longer be subject to the single digit returns that my traditional retirement account is receiving inside of either my previous employer or my IRA that's sitting with Fidelity. I want an opportunity to put these funds in a position so that I can achieve double digit returns. Well, how do we do that? Well, we talk a lot about non-traditional investments. And just so we're clear, happy pre-4th of July, but my wife hates when I put white background slides on all black Vibe board. So I apologize. This is me, not her. Just so we're clear. So what can you invest in? You can invest in what you want. It doesn't matter what matter of fact, it would be easier for me to tell you what you cannot invest in versus lay out everything you can. But in most cases, most people are interested in investing in real estate. Whether that's land, subject tos, self-storage facilities, it doesn't matter. And there's a lot of gurus out here saying, here's how you use your retirement account to be able to invest with me in these vehicles. Here's how I can help you make these double-digit returns by moving your funds from the casino that it's in and moving it into something that's a bit more secure. And again, if we're talking about the cash flow equation, if we're talking about how to generate wealth, it is all about reducing and or eliminating risk, putting your money somewhere where it's secure. Now, I'm not saying that every real estate investment is secure, but I think we can agree that real estate is a bit more secure than the market. So if you can get your money out of the stock market and get it in a position to where your money can start working for you, I think that would be awesome. And so with the goal being double-digit returns, how do we go about it? Well, and again, I'll call it a combination of the information that I've been receiving over the past few weeks. We were out of town presenting, and again, when I'm talking a lot about 401ks, it seems like I'm getting served a lot of information about 401ks. Like, thank you to my phone and the algorithm. But what I've been noticing is most of the gurus are saying, hey, if you want to invest with me, if you want to join my program, if you want to be able to buy real estate, buy fix and flips, buy and hold, subject tos, land, self-storage, you name it, all you got to do is grab your previous employer plan and do some of these things. So let's talk through what it is they're actually suggesting. So in this case, it's take a withdrawal. What's being stated here is, hey, I get it. You've got a previous employer plan sitting in Fidelity. How about you take the tax and penalty hit, withdraw the money straight out, lose all of the tax benefits of the money that was sitting in your 401k or your IRA or Roth IRA or Roth 401k, and then take that lump sum and invest it with me. Now, I get it. You're going to have to pay a small amount of taxes and a penalty. Notice, they aren't the one paying that small amount of taxes and penalty. You are. But hey, that's okay. That's the price of doing business. Take that withdrawal and then move it into this venture. That's the first step, or that's one option. And then what I'm seeing is, hey, roll over. Now, rollover sounds pretty simple, right? I was with a prior company. I went to a new company. I'm now going to roll over those funds from that prior company into the new company that I'm with. Well, what they're saying is, hey, when that new dollar amount or when that dollar amount from that previous employer hits your new company, that rollover dollar amount is still yours. So what you can do is then withdraw, take the tax and penalty hit from that rolled over dollar amount. Again, take the tax and penalty hit and then take that dollar amount and invest with me. And then the last one is ISD. And anyone know what an ISD is? ISD stands for in-service distribution. If you spend any time with us, if you spend any time on this channel, we talk a lot about going to your employer. Let's say you have a current employer plan. And remember, if you are working at a company and that company offers a retirement account, you don't own that retirement account. The company that you work for does. Now, there are some employers out there that if you go to them and say, can I have an in-service, and this is stating distribution, an in-service distribution. What does that mean? That means, hey, employer, would you allow me to take some of the money that I know I don't own? I know you control it. Can I have some of that as a distribution, as a check? Which implies what? The same thing these imply. I'm going to take the tax and the penalty hit on the amount that I'm taking as a distribution so that I can go invest it elsewhere. Now, there are very few companies that will allow this, but they do exist. And it doesn't hurt to ask. But here's my argument. Why is it an in-service distribution? Well, it's because the distribution impacts you. It doesn't impact who you're going to be investing with. So there's a way to accomplish this, but not an in-service distribution. It's an in-service transfer. But we'll get into that. My moral of the story is this is what they're telling you to do. And if you're not, I'll call it paying attention, you can head down this path and cause yourself unnecessary harm. You can put yourself in a position to where you're paying unnecessary taxes and penalty. Again, for no reason, because it does not help you. Now, I get it. Once you have those funds and you have control over those funds, you're able to invest them and grow them and hopefully hit the goal, which is double-digit return. Like, that's the objective. I understand that. So in some cases, this might be okay. My point to you is this: it's not the first option. I would hope that it would be the last resort, because if we just approach this differently, you can do this without having to be impacted by this. Oh, and by the way, even though it's only a tax and penalty hit, how much are we talking? We're talking 30 to 40%. So you've got $100,000 in your previous employer 401k, and are you okay paying $40,000 in taxes so that you can grow those funds at a double-digit rate? Are you okay with that? What if there was a way that you could use the entire 100,000 without losing 40? Like, wouldn't that be a better approach? And why isn't that more prevalent? Why isn't that expressed first versus, I don't worry about it, I got you? And so my point is, what I wanted to do today was just kind of highlight what's a better way. And these are, I'll call it, common approaches. I've used them all. I'd say these are more of the common approaches to being able to accomplish the same goal, which is invest in real estate using qualified money, using an IRA, 401k, 403b, TSP, government 457 plan. These are the more common approaches to doing so. And I wanted to talk through what that structure looks like. So the first one is creating an IRA at any custodian that offers an IRA, creating an IRA and investing in real estate from there. But what, in order to do that, you have to have an active custodian. So what does that mean? So again, creating an IRA with any active custodian so that you can invest in real estate. But we first have to kind of talk through or highlight what is an active custodian. I think that's here. Yeah. So we talk a lot about banks. A custodian is just a fancy word for a bank. And so the thought process is, hey, making sure that if you're going to just, using my wife's term again, willy-nilly create yourself a self-directed IRA, because Fidelity offers a self-directed IRA, just so we're clear. Morgan Stanley offers a self-directed IRA, but we need to be clear as to what that means. Self-directed in a lot of custodial terms means you can invest in what they offer. Not you can invest in what you want, but you can invest in what they offer. So any active custodian can create an IRA. And if you get the right active custodian, you can also invest in real estate through them. So what's a custodian? Again, it's a bank. And what do I mean by active? So this would be an active custodian, meaning Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, Edward Jones. These are custodians. These are banks who you can invest in what you want, but it's limited to what they offer. So if they offer mutual funds, stocks, and bonds, you can invest in it. If they offer real estate, if they offer syndications, you can invest in them, but you have to go through them to do so. Why is that? Well, it's because an IRA is actually just a glorified savings account. It's not that special. It doesn't have the structure required for you to have control over those dollars. And so if you, I guess I'll get to that. So if you have an IRA, it needs some support. It needs some other, I'll call it, foundation for you to be able to take action. And then there's those custodians who allow you to invest in what you want, but you continuously pay for it. Meaning you can invest in real estate through them, but because there's a custodian there in general, because they are also considered, this mic is in the way, also considered active. As a result, yes, because you're investing through them, they get to nickel and dime you to death. Remember custodian or broker fees from the last conversation we had about the 401k being a scam? And it's not the 401k, it's where the 401k and who the 401k is with and the amount, the fee structure associated. Well, you can invest in what you want with an active custodian that allows you to invest in real estate, but because their support is required, you have zero control over the fee structure. You have zero control over how much it's going to cost you in addition to investing. And then there's the last type, which are the kind that we use, and that is passive, truly passive custodians. And what I mean by passive is there's no custodial interference. So in order to take action, you have to take that action. Now, these are all FDIC insured institutions. And as a matter of fact, these active custodians can be passive if they choose to. But think about it. What you're asking a bank to do is make less money. So this is a capitalist country. And again, our objective is to become the banks. There are very few banks out there that are okay with taking less money, but they do exist. And all banks can function in a passive capacity if they choose to. But the key is the negotiation. And just so we're clear, what do I mean? Well, we had talked last week about fees and how fees tend to eat up 2/3 of your retirement account. So if the objective is to move your funds from where they are into a vehicle that will allow you to be able to invest in non-traditional investments and beat the 4% rule and eliminate broker fees, if you need an active custodian to do so, are you actually getting away from these fees? And again, this is something to think about.
I got to come in for a second because the one thing that we missed talking about last time was why this is so significant. Saying 2/3 in fees is a lot for people to wrap their heads around, and I understand that. This could mean 19 years or more, depending on how long it took you to get to where you ended up in your account. So if it took you 40 years to get to $1 million in your account, right? And they were taking 2/3, then when could you have retired?
Right.
When could you have retired? For the majority of people, that average is 19 years. 19 years earlier, you could have retired and sailed off into the sunset and had more years in your life and life in your years, right?
Right. Let's say it again. If you had 2/3 more in your retirement account, the 4% rule wouldn't exist.
Right. 2/3 is a lot. And that is why we focus so heavily on fees. It's not because they shouldn't get paid for doing a job, right? That's not what we're saying. We're not saying that people shouldn't get paid their worth or for providing a service. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is this is completely unregulated, and it is it should be criminal what they actually are taking from people. So when we're talking about fees and it seems like 1% to 2%, like that doesn't seem like a lot. If somebody said, I'm going to take 19 years, you're going to have to work 19 years longer just simply because I'm a part of the process, that would be a problem for most people. But it's not optional. It's non-negotiable. We just have to go along with it. And so many people have gone along with it because they have no idea that this even exists or what it's actually costing them.
Right.
And that's why we talk about it. So that's all I wanted to add in there is just some perspective that we're not talking about 1% to 2% in fees. We're talking about decades of your life and your time with your family and whatever else you wanted to do. That's what we're talking about.
We meet with a lot of people that the focus is, hey, I'm running out of time because I don't have as much as I should have. Maybe I started late. But imagine if you could keep 2/3 of what you've made. Doesn't change the fact that you're running out of time, but it sure does give you a much larger pool to be able to grow. And so again, the focus of today is depending on the steps you take, determines how much of your nest egg is available to be able to take action outside of the stock market. And it's very simple, meaning there are just some simple actions that you can take to do this. This is not complicated, but it's intentionally made to seem complicated so that there's no mutiny, so that we don't run out here and storm the Capitol.
Okay, well.
So again, the first step is you can get or create an IRA through any active custodian and allow them to assist you in being able to invest in real estate. But just understand what that's introducing. That does introduce fees. And again, it's not a tax and penalty hit, there's a cost to doing business. Now, what does that structure look like? And I know this is a little bit small, so I'll try to make it a little bit bigger. Or, sweetheart, if you could make me smaller.
Yep, I'll make you smaller. Here we go.
In essence, what that would look like is you as the IRA owner or 401k owner or 403b owner, you move those funds into a self-directed IRA, again, as stated by the custodian that you're with. So if it's an active custodian, it's a self-directed IRA that allows you to invest in what they offer. If it's an equity trust or an IRA services or a directed IRA, you're able to invest in real estate, but you need their support, again, which implies fees. So your old dollar amount would move into that new IRA. And notice, this says a rollover contribution. This can also be a transfer. So whether we're talking about a rollover or a transfer, it doesn't matter. It's really semantics. A rollover means it's something that you can do, I think, 3 times within a year when you're going from one qualified account to another qualified account, where a transfer is unlimited. In most cases, most of us aren't doing 3 rollovers within a year. It's to I guess, reduce some of the job hopping that people do because it impacts that. But the moral of the story is you are in a position to either transfer or roll over your previous employer plan into another IRA. And then from that IRA, you're able to then make purchases. Your IRA is allowed to buy real estate. And again, that real estate would live inside the IRA. And the IRA itself would pay property taxes and expenses. So you are able to work with these gurus who are telling you, hey, just take the tax and penalty hit. Don't worry about it. Nah, I actually want to keep my IRA intact. I actually want to use all of the funds to be able to invest so that I can actually grow more. And yeah, we can have a Roth versus traditional, meaning we can have a tax deferred versus a tax-free discussion. But that's you taking control and converting traditional dollars to Roth and accepting whatever that tax liability might be, not someone else telling you it's okay for you to take a 40% hit when it's unnecessary.
That's
so it's
right.
you being able to take control over your dollars to buy the real estate you want, and then that tenant or whatever the growth is from that investment goes back into the IRA. It's a pretty simple process, but it's about structure. Go ahead, sweetheart.
And just to be fair, sometimes people just understand how, like, this is a thing, you can use it, you can do this in order to be able to take advantage of this opportunity. And I think that's fair enough because, to be fair, that's how we learned about these types of accounts, right? We even learned that this was possible to do. Then we had to peel the layers back because you had gotten a different type of self-directed account in the beginning, right? It was the same situation. So it's not that we're just saying this is something that could happen. This is something that happens every day. It happened to us. We didn't know what we didn't know. And therefore, we ended up having to restructure everything, getting a different type of account so that we had true freedom and full control. The reason why I popped in here, though, was because I do think that just starting somewhere, right? Just starting somewhere and saying, this is like for instance, if you had a 401k, you had funds in there and you wanted to roll them over just to be a passive investor. We talk about mailbox money all the time because it's our favorite kind of money, right? It's our favorite kind of investments. We don't have to do anything. They do all the work. We get all the reward. And all we have to do is lend them our money. And if you wanted to take advantage of an opportunity like that, rolling your funds over into a self-directed account to be able to have access, what would be the impact to somebody if that's all they did ever? Versus somebody who wants to be able to leverage other multiple uses for a self-directed account, that structure may suddenly become a lot of penalties and taxes and maybe create some gray area that now they're looking going, this isn't beneficial. How did all of a sudden this become extremely not beneficial? So that's what I'm saying is, like, if you're only wanting to use it for the thing that they're talking about, maybe it does make sense. But if you are really truly wanting to take full control, then learning what you can and can't do really matters a lot. So I just wanted to say sometimes they're not wrong. It's just that they only know it for that particular use case and they don't understand the impact if you wanted to use it for other things.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why we're walking through these 3 structures, but it's not these three structures measured against each other, one is better than the other. I'm not even going into that today. It's there are people out here telling you don't worry about structure.
Yeah,
Just take the
right.
tax and penalty hit to be able to invest. And so I'm just sharing with you, this is absolutely an option. It's a reasonable and viable option without you having to take that tax and penalty hit.
Yeah. They don't know what they don't know either.
Exactly. And that's the part. They're gurus for in the world that they're in for a reason. They are multimillionaires, if not billionaires in real estate, and that's traditionally how it happens. But if you are trying to do the same, there are some things that you should know that could probably help you get there faster. Is my point.
We have some questions coming in when you're ready.
All right. And so the next action would be to create a self-directed IRA with checkbook control. Now, these can't happen everywhere. Not every custodian, whether active or passive, can create a self-directed IRA with checkbook control. And again, when you hear it from me, I just call it a self-directed IRA. That's all it is. But again, self-directed means something different to different people. From our perspective, it means 100% control. It means you are the one that's able to write a check from your retirement account to invest in what it is you want. Whether it's real estate, crypto, it does not matter. And what does that look like? Well, that structure looks like this. Those funds going from that previous position that they were in to a new custodian. And again, IRAs are just glorified savings account. So that custodian has to be active. But can we negotiate what that fee structure looks like compared to other active custodians? The answer is yes. Can we put your money in a position to where this custodian functions in a passive position? As I mentioned, all active custodians can be passive. They just have to choose to. And so what happens is we create the brand new IRA. IRA does not have the structure required for you to be able to invest. So the IRA itself has to purchase an LLC that lives in the IRA. The IRA owns that LLC. You do not. And so what do LLCs offer that IRAs do not? LLCs offer an EIN number. That EIN number functions as a social security number. So now as a result, your IRA is able to put funds in the checking account of the LLC, and you're able to use the EIN number of the LLC to own that checking account to be able to write checks and have a debit card and take action like you would if you were doing it personally. This structure gives you 100% control over your retirement dollars. This is one other step that just needs to be added to the item above. Why don't more people do it? Well, it's because if you add this LLC, that removes the need of a custodian having control, which means it reduces the need for the custodial fees. So it's very difficult to justify nickel and diming 2/3 of your account if you're in a position to where now you make the decision. Now you have the control. And that's the point. That's the purpose. The purpose is for you to be able to take control, right?
Right.
And so what does that look like? Okay, once you have your own self-directed IRA, again, checkbook controlled self-directed IRA, bigger. You're able to move those funds into the IRA LLC and then invest directly from that LLC to be able to buy property. And then as long as the returns, the rents come back to that LLC, you're fine. And then eventually you can move it back into the IRA if you want. But ultimately it can live here and you can invest from this space to be able to buy what you want. And this is where structure matters. Because let's say something happens in this rental property and the person in the rental property sues. Well, if you have multiple rental properties, that means that one person can get to or access or sue that LLC that holds those rental properties. So maybe the structure needs to look a little bit different. Maybe you need multiple LLCs. And each one of those holds some type of entity like a rental property or your apartment complex or crypto or land or gold, silver. So each one of the LLCs living inside of the one. meaning there are many different ways to structure this so that you are protected. But the short of it is adding this LLC not only allows you to add a layer of protection, it also gives you the ability to have full checkbook control over your retirement dollars.
And to be fair, this is why it's so hard to track all of those corporations who are just swallowing up cities right now and buying up all of this real estate, because no one can track it. There are LLCs under LLCs under LLCs, and no one knows who owns these properties. Therefore, when they start jacking up the rates of the rents, it's really difficult to like go pinpoint, like especially when the news is covering the problem, right? It's hard to go pinpoint somebody. All they can do is say it's just this LLC that's doing it, right?
Right. You're absolutely correct. So last one. And again, we can jump into the questions right after this because this will move pretty fast as well.
Okay.
Last one. The last opportunity or the last action that's able to be taken is, what about a self-directed 401k? And now there are some requirements, meaning you need to be or you must be a business owner. Well, if I am looking to get into real estate, that tells me that you're looking to become a business owner if you aren't already. And so that business owner can be any self-employment income, any 1099, any LLC, any sole proprietorship, any S Corp, any C Corp, any. And maybe you don't have a business today. But again, if the goal is to grow retirement dollars through real estate, I would think you would want to at least build a business somewhere around that structure. And so having a business, I won't get into that today, but it does require a business with no full-time employees in order for you to have a solo 401k. Assuming you meet that criteria, we stop talking about IRAs and we move to a 401k. So what does that structure look like? We would simply move those funds from that previous employer plan, penalty-free, tax-free, into your own self-directed 401k. What makes a 401k so much more powerful? Well, a 401k is just a trust. And as a trust, trusts have their own EIN number, which means you don't require that additional structure that's required for an IRA. So because you don't require that additional structure, you don't actually require custodial support. And as a result of not requiring custodial support, it allows us to take this 401k and its EIN number, go to a passive custodian that charges zero custodial fees. So now I'm not worried about my account getting eaten up by 2/3 of the fees of the fee structure that we talked about. So now I have all 100% of my retirement account sitting here waiting to go to work. So if I'm working with a Chris Cohn, a Scott Myers, a Chris Iman, Rex Jelinek, like if I'm working with some of these real estate gurus out here that do great work, that allow you to build income using your retirement dollars, I now have 100% access to all of it to go do that work. And as you mentioned, sweetheart, about having or creating passive income, mailbox money, all of these guys offer these experiences where you don't have to do anything. You just simply write a check.
Yeah.
And you sit back and watch the double-digit return. Because again, what's the goal? The goal is to achieve double-digit return. But notice, no tax, no penalty, full control to be able to hit those double-digit returns. And so what that looks like, and again, this is a bit more complicated, but I'm gonna focus my attention here. It's the having the 401k, whether you moved funds from a previous employer plan into that 401k, whether you rolled it over or transferred, either one, or your business paid you a salary, and that salary, you were able to contribute a certain dollar amount into that 401k. But regardless, you have full control over all of those dollars to then buy the property. And again, as long as the rents go back into that 401k, this is a penalty-free, tax-free transaction. We don't care about capital gains because we're not impacted. Now, when we start to take a distribution, okay, if this is a traditional 401k, there's a tax implication, but you're going to have that anyway. But here's how you grow tax deferred, if not tax-free dollars inside of your 401k exponentially. And again, we talk about the wealth equation. Pay yourself first, starting today, somewhere secure, compound your money. But when you're able to get multiple properties, and you're able to leverage other people's experiences and other people's money to do it, that's how you grow exponentially. And again, that's without taking the 2/3 in fees. And this is not hard. It's just, I think we run into situations where people get lazy and don't want to do the work to figure out how. And that's why we just give this information away. And in addition, people gatekeep. They intentionally hold this information back. Why? Who benefits? Who benefits from you knowing that you don't need a bank? You do. And I don't think banks are too keen on you having that information. So what does that look like? At the end of the day, all of these strategies, all of this structure, these three common types of structure allow you to have no penalty, no tax, and full control over your retirement dollars. 100%. All by just simply making a simple shift. And that shift is moving away from withdrawing the funds and taking a tax and penalty hit on your retirement dollars and just creating additional structure. That additional structure being created will pay dividends for you for life. Unlimited. And that's it, sweetheart.
Bars. Okay. Let's get to the questions then. I think I'm going to leave this up though. In the meantime, I don't know. Okay. I'll come over here with you.
Well, I was going to move you over, but okay. I like you when you're next to me.
Yeah. I'll just come over here with you.
Looking kind of small though. Get bigger.
All right. So a solid future providers says, how do you get around contribution limits of the IRA?
Yeah. Okay. Let's play that out. Everyone screams that the IRA is the best vehicle. The Roth IRA is the best vehicle to invest in, but you're limited to $7,000, depending on your age, or $8,000 a year to contribute. Now, there are backdoor ways to get more money into an IRA, but you know what? You know how to get around the contribution limits of an IRA? Don't get an IRA. Get a 401k. Because the 401k contribution limits are, what is it, 23,000 if you're under 50, 30,500 if you're over, and you're able to provide a match, which is 25% of your income up to 46,000. So if you're over 50 years old, go ahead.
And you can commingle funds.
And I'm getting there. Because if you are over 50, that's $76,500 that you're able to contribute. I think that's a little bit more than 8,000. And then in addition, if you do have a spouse, a part of this process, multiply that times 2.
Commingling funds.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that reminds me, I'm going to digress for a moment. It won't take long. There was a comment under one of our videos that said the intro made us seem like we were drunk. And I'm sorry, this is not a fun topic. And so if I look drunk having fun talking through this, then I think that's a score. I think we've accomplished a goal.
I missed that. Wow.
I thought that was hilarious. I was like, that was the best comment ever.
They're out here getting lit on on retirement topics.
Like, wow. I love it.
Well, if we can be this hype and we can make it a party, then you guys know that there's hope out there for everyone, because I don't know anybody else who's having such a good time talking about retirement planning and making it fun. I mean, really, honestly, it has to become part of the conversation so that we're all just constantly talking about it. Why haven't we been talking about it? Why has this not been at the barbecue, right? Why haven't these conversations been at all the tables? They should have been, alcohol or not.
And kudos to those on this live, because I know it's the day before 4th of July, and normally I'd be, seasoning meat for tomorrow or something like that. So kudos to you guys being on this live, however many it is, because I know you could be doing something different. So,
yeah, no doubt. Well, okay, Zinsparity says, if my husband leaves his job and wishes to use his 401k to fund my business, can his current 401k be rolled over into a new 401k that is created through the business? And the continuation of that question was a real estate business.
So can a rollover 401k be used? Would you mind leaving it up? Because there was a lot there.
Yeah, I'm just putting the last part up. Yeah. Okay.
Can that old 401k be used to fund your business. There are a few rules that we have to be aware of. The number one rule is disqualified persons, meaning there are certain people that can be involved with your retirement account prior to retirement, and there's certain people that cannot. It's a straight line of individuals who cannot. And if they are involved with that retirement account, you will lose all of the tax benefits or tax privileges, all the privilege, I'll call it, features associated with having a 401k. All of it would become a distribution at that point. So who are those straight line of individuals? It's grandparents, parents, your husband and you, so you and your spouse, kids, grandkids, and any of their spouses. So it's a straight line of individuals. Outside of that, that 401k can help any business or anyone as long as they're not in that straight line of individuals. And notice I didn't mention sister, brother, cousin. There's a lot of people in your family that you can still partner with to be able to grow your business, but you are not one of them. Now, depending on how much you need, you can leverage against your 401k. Leverage meaning you can borrow 50% of what's in your 401k up to 50,000, and you can use that dollar amount to do whatever you want with your business. So the short answer to your question would be yes and no. Meaning, can you use money directly from the 401k for your business? No. Can you borrow money against your 401k and use that for your business? Yes.
Okay. I think, I don't know if I missed some questions. Solid Future Provider said that they were at a wedding, it's Jeremiah, by the way, a wedding reception this weekend talking about the MPI strategy and annuities. And I mean, I feel like that is where we have to go with it. We have to start talking about this. My niece was over here and she was like, Auntie, all you talk about is like the future and inflation. And I don't want to talk about that stuff. And it's like, one day you're going to be so grateful that I have the perspective that I have and that this knowledge is at your fingertips. I get it that you don't understand it now. And it's okay. We can talk about other things too. But when it comes to making decisions for your future and doing the math on how much income you need to make, those types of things, then this has to become a part of it. It just feels foreign. It feels like, oh, that's a buzzkill that you keep bringing up, financial security. Like if we all had it, we wouldn't have to talk about it, right?
That's the part. And, full transparency in households that look like mine, it has been traditionally taboo to talk about money.
Yeah.
You never knew what granddad did or didn't make. You never knew what grandmother did or didn't make. And I think if we can help normalize having discussions around, you know what? I've bumped my head enough to where I want my 21, 22, 25-year-old nieces, nephews, sons, daughters to not bump their heads anymore. And you know what? They have so many more compound cycles available to them. Why wouldn't I pour into them so they don't have to make the same mistakes? Now, I get it. They're going to walk in the room and go, but I don't want to listen to that. That doesn't mean turn the fire hose off. Keep spraying, keep sharing, keep forcing, because eventually they will get wet. Eventually they will come to you and go, you know what? It may take something that they heard from a friend of theirs or someone Justin's age to kind of say it in their terms, whatever that vernacular might be, for them to go, you know what? I've heard this before. And you know what? I do want to take action. So keep going. And, I was sharing with you earlier today that I intentionally don't bring this up when I'm in spaces. I intentionally do that because people know, they know. But I think you're right around that doesn't mean turn it off.
Yeah, because I intentionally.
So you're absolutely right about that. And I think I need to rethink my own thought process around that.
I intentionally bring it up, and I don't care if I'm annoying. I think it's because at the point where people go, oh, I'm super impacted by these conditions, then they're going to look for solutions then. By then, they can't leverage the time that they had to be prepared and avoid that, right? So then they're looking at people going, well, now I'm looking for this information. Now I'm in a rush. Now I feel panicked about it. And if they were looking at me going, you knew the whole time, and you didn't say anything. And that's really what it is. We could live right next door to somebody who has their stuff completely together. They have all the keys to the doors you're trying to open, but we don't talk to them, right?
Right.
And if you did talk to them, it's not going to be about this. It would be about something that's more appropriate, right?
Right.
When the truth is, we should be able to ask questions like this, like, hey, how are you structured? Like, what is it that what do you invest in? What kind of returns are you getting? Just because we don't know what we don't know, and the only way that we're going to find out what options are available is to keep searching or hope that we bump into them, right?
Right.
By the time you've waited for that to happen, it's likely too late. The opportunities, when they come at you, if you aren't prepared and you're not educated to be able to identify them, we say this all the time. If you can't see them, they fly right past you. By the time you do understand what they are, then you can backtrack and go, oh my gosh, so full of regrets. Like I could have done that and I could have done that. And imagine where I would have been. Now those opportunities aren't there anymore because conditions are different, right?
Right.
But more will come. And being in a place where you're prepared to take advantage of them and understanding how these tools and these vehicles work and function so that you can be properly structured, so that you can be properly prepared, means you can spring into action before somebody else does because they still have to go ask permission.
Right.
And you don't.
Now, how awesome would it be? Because I'm confident tomorrow there will be a fair amount of conversations talking about some billionaire basketball player who used his influence to get his son on his team. But how awesome would it be if we could put our own lives in position to where leverage these vehicles that we have to generate enough income so that we could do the same? So that we could put our families in a position to where they don't have to struggle, put our families in a position so that they actually have a leg up. Because again, I'll say it till I'm no longer here. The problem in this country is classism.
Yeah.
And the spread is just getting wider. So this is just another vehicle for us to be able to leverage and use to be able to hit our goals.
Yep. I love this comment because we get it. We understand. I've done PowerPoint presentations. I've done spreadsheets. Am I lying? Spreadsheets, like family meetings. I printed out everybody worksheets. We're going to do this exercise together. It's so annoying. And I understand that I am uber annoying with this, but I don't care because something has to stick. And the conversations aren't happening within their generations because it's a trickle down effect of like YOLO, right? This generation to generation. And now they have this like live your life in freedom and we're tired of working, right? They don't have the same conditions growing up that we did. They were not drinking out of the garden hose. Absolutely not. Just the thought of having to do that, right? For this generation. So they're not like us, okay?
Man.
All that's to say, you're frozen, I think. The point is though, they aren't like us when we were their age. And that's okay. It is okay. We created comfortable situations that we wish we would have had, and now we've created problems we can't identify or relate to, right? So now we have to come up with solutions, and we have to be able to think backwards and reverse engineer these solutions to be able to meet them earlier so that we're not just giving them the freedom to figure it out on their own. They cannot afford to do that. You can all see it on the wall. The writing is not even just been on the wall. It is stained into the paint. It's there. We don't have to even argue or debate this. Where we're going, they have to be able to have a hand up. There have to be steps that they can climb because they will not grab rope and start trying to climb up a rope. They're not going to do it. It's too much. They can't jump that high. It's not going to happen. Right. So what will happen is they have to be subject to whatever conditions and opportunities someone else decides that that are available to them. Why not say we get to decide what those opportunities are, the best that we can help give to them, right? It's not just them though. It's also us when we're older. We see what retirees are experiencing today, and this is why. It's that 2/3 in fees. They could have been done a long time ago. They could have far more in their retirement. Imagine how many people would have access to better health care if they had that 2/3 in their retirement account that they could have accessed, right? Imagine all of the benefits that they could have taken advantage of, or opportunities that they could have had if they would have had access to that. It's just a broken system, and we have to fix it. And the only way we're going to do that is if we stop relying on these traditional systems and acting like government or state officials or anybody else is coming to save us, because we can learn this stuff. We can learn how to get properly structured. We can understand what are the unique things about me and what my opportunities, what kind of machine could I build, and what could that yield? Like, we can do the math, the long math, all the way forward.
Right.
So that's what we're here to encourage everybody to do, is just say, what things can I link together so that my money continues to make its own money, and I have financial security, not just stability, not just knowing that I'll be okay and my needs will be met. I'm talking about financial security. It is a level of financial peace I wish everyone could experience. They can. Okay, I'm trying to pay attention to the comments here.
No, you're fine. So the objective today was to also blow through this example and not keep you guys here too long, because we know it's the day before the 4th of July. So if there's not a lot of questions, my objective was to, because I had originally an example to share on top of this that would kind of break things down, but I figured I would just save that for Sunday. And so if there aren't any other questions, we can open it up to questions even beyond a self-directed 401k or an IRA and how you can use it to be able to invest in real estate. We can just open it up and give away a boat or two and get out of here.
Yeah, I love that. We sent Nathan a box to make sure that he had a box, and he said that his kids also were interested in the box when it came. That it was that cool, right, Nathan? That's what you meant? I was really excited to hear some of the feedback from that. Like, okay, is this a vibe to open? Like, was this exciting? Were the things that were included in the box, because there's a lot of things in there, did all of it make sense? And how did it make you feel when you were opening the box? And that's the kind of feedback that I was looking for from some of the people that we had initially sent it out to. And some of the comments, man, that have come back have just been so meaningful. It really, my heart was just overflowing with those sentiments. The words that were chosen, the amount of detail used in tying all of the things that were in the box, and how long people have been with us and they've been learning this stuff. And that's probably like the most exciting thing for us, is watching people who have been here and learning. It's just the proof, right? That they've just been attending live streams and now they're out there educating their communities on this stuff. It's incredible to watch this happen and to witness. And it's just more proof that it's possible, that anybody can do this. Yeah, so it may feel overwhelming right now, but it won't after a while, because there are people who are just like you watching, and now they're out there helping their families, helping their communities, helping their churches get things structured so that they can take advantage of opportunities and level up. And that's just amazing. So there are so many comments here, just especially about planning and what it is that we're subscribing to. Yeah, we like to also read the comments after the stream for those that we don't get to.
Yeah, I've got one from Tom. Let me throw that up. I just saw it pop up, so I'll throw it up there. It's at the bottom.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Tom has a dying Roth that sits with the brokerage. And would it be able to be self-directed? And the short answer to that question is yes. Now, Roth dollars have to remain in the form that they're in, because Roth says you've already paid taxes on it. So can you go from a Roth IRA to a self-directed 401k if you wanted to? You can't. But you can go from a Roth IRA to a self-directed Roth IRA that would allow you to invest in what you want. And here's usually what I tell people. If that's your Roth IRA, there's no harm in having both. Why? Like, why does that matter? Well, think about it. Let's say you have, let me use some round numbers. Let's say you've got $100,000 sitting in your Roth IRA. And this is kind of similar to the example we were going to walk through. You got $100,000 sitting in your Roth IRA. you open up a self-directed Roth IRA. You move $100,000 from that Roth IRA into your self-directed Roth IRA. Now you have full checkbook control over those dollars. What can you do? Go invest. Now, you have to take action. It requires you to take action to be able to grow those dollars. But let's say you've got an idea, you've got a fix and flip you want to join. There's a community you want to become a part of to be able to invest passively. There's syndications, there's REITs, subject twos, you name it. You have the ability to take action. And as those returns come, where are they coming back to? They're coming back to a checking account that is not making you any interest. So it's coming to a passive checking account. There's nothing happening to those dollars other than the bank, leverage them like they do with anyone's money sitting in a checking account. But your money's not making money in the account. Why not take those funds and then move them back into that Roth IRA that, again, I'm assuming you said it's sitting there being ignored, but I would hope that it's at least making you something. Or at a minimum, I don't know if you know this, qualified dollars have I'll call it high yield savings account for qualified dollars, meaning your Roth IRA could be sitting in a high yield savings account. So at a minimum, that account could be bringing you 5-6%. So you invest passively from your self-directed IRA. As those funds come back into the IRA, you move them back into your Roth IRA sitting in whatever that custodian is with, and you're still able to achieve the 4, 5, 6% from a high yield savings, or they can still be invested in the index funds or mutual funds, whatever you decide, that's sitting in your Roth IRA. So it allows you to now have a vehicle that you can just transfer funds back and forth to be able to grow them on both ends. Like there's a win-win here.
When you say stuff like that, it's like, wow, that's awesome that you can do that. And then the other half of the room goes, okay, well, how do you do that? How do you transfer back and forth? What does that look like?
Yep.
Where would I do that? Is that online? Is it a ledger move? How do I do it?
So in most cases, again, playing the same scenario out, you've got 100,000. Mm-hmm. How did you get that 100,000 from your Roth IRA sitting with Fidelity?
Yeah.
Well, what you did was you went to your online account, click withdrawals. There's a withdrawal tab, and it gives you 3 options. You can withdraw it, taking the tax and penalty hit. You can roll it over, or you can transfer. All we're doing is transferring funds from that Roth IRA to another qualified account. That's a penalty-free, tax-free transfer. And they offer a 24-hour wire option. Yeah, it may cost you $30, but it's $30. So now you put in the necessary information that's going to ask for a bank account number, a routing number, and where it's going. You click the 24-hour wire option. So now those funds have now been transferred into the checking account of your self-directed Roth IRA. So how do you invest from your self-directed Roth IRA? You actually have a checkbook. Now you have to request the checks, but you actually can write a check from your self-directed Roth IRA to the investment. Now, I would hope there's some contract that receiving investor has your banking and routing number for your Roth IRA to return the profits to you. So as those checks come into your mailbox money, as long as you take that check and you deposit it back into your Roth IRA, or everything is done electronically, there's a wire that goes from the investor that you're with back into your Roth IRA. It's now sitting in that account. Then what do? You go to your online account with your self-directed Roth IRA, click withdrawals. It's going to ask, where do you want it to go? We're going to transfer it from this Roth IRA back to Fidelity, back into the Fidelity account. Or maybe we don't even want to deal with Fidelity anymore. Maybe you use the EIN number of the LLC that your IRA owns, and you use that EIN number to open a brokerage account with Vanguard, which you have the control to be able to do. And so now we're just going to work between the investment and Vanguard to move money back and forth. Like there are unlimited options here. And we are only limited by our imagination. Hopefully that answers.
And belief comes before that, what we believe about ourselves and what's possible. And on that note, Charles, hello and good evening, self-directed family. Happy 3rd of July, my 35th year anniversary at the job. Thanks to the Stims, we are on our way to our WTF moment after retirement.
Love it.
I couldn't love that more. Yeah. we got to meet them, and which was such an honor. And we've been trying to do this more with the trips and events that we go to. We just realize that sometimes we don't have the time, and we want to make sure that we have the energy and the time to set all of that up. So if we're not able to start doing that with this next, I don't know what you call it, set of events, we have at least one a month from here on out. And then we're going to have to do something for next week. It's your mic again. I'm going to mute you. I don't know. Maybe because you move it around, it gets disconnected. You have to unmute yourself. Yeah, so congratulations, Charles. Oh, do it again. Sorry. All right. No, can't hear you. Okay, well, while he's he'll be back with us. Donnell, party of one. Stidham. Nope, I can't hear you. Can you guys hear him? We can go ahead and go for the boat. Let's see if it resets. Okay. All right, let's do that. Well, anywho, okay, so we talked about belief. We talked about being able to foresee where you're going, because if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. We've talked about what you can do with the 401k, self-directed 401k, why structure matters and how it limits your opportunities, right? If we aren't paying attention to how things are structured, if we're not paying attention to the limitations and how to maneuver, then we are limiting ourselves in what's possible, right? So the segue here into what's possible is, what is the goal? If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. And that's the point of why we focus so much on the term, what is the goal? Having this in your language every single day, making it normal to talk about, is the powerful part. Like keeping it not just top of mind, but something that you believe. And that's why I'm using this word, because you can put anything on a vision board, you can label anything as your goal, but if you don't actually believe it, then it's not going to drive you to achieve it, right? If you say, yep, make $1 million this year, sure, that would be great, that would be nice. But if you don't believe it, then all the decisions that you're making up into the end of the year aren't going to lead you anywhere close to that goal, right? We have shared here about the moment where vision boards and declaring our goals have made a huge impact for us. It had a huge impact on our family, on our marriage, on the trajectory of our family, whole family's financial future. Really, it came with deciding. And when we decided, we had killed off all other options. That's what CIDE means. We should have Cortland on to talk about that. But we have another phrase from a dear friend and mentor of ours who has broken this down. When you truly decide, you are saying it's non-negotiable. This is what I'm doing. This is where I'm going. There are no other options. So therefore, it's not that you are keeping your options open. All you're doing is looking now for the opportunities to get you to your goal. Is your audio on now? No. Okay, we'll try again. So the point is that we have to assess all of those opportunities to be able to reach that goal. What are those decisions every single day? And the story that we use comes with what's called a one-sentence solution. Will it make the boat go faster? It is proof that this concept works on a stellar level. It's been proof in our home. It's become like a mantra or an anthem around here. But for them, it was life-changing. And that's why, let me find it. And that's why we share this story with you. So we're going to spin for the boat after this. In 1998, a British rowing team dreaming of the Olympic gold found themselves ranked 7th. Their focus had always been on the competition day, but they realized the keys to reaching their highest potential were hiding in the decisions that they'd make over those next 2 years.
Faced with two obvious choices, continue their current path and expect the same result, or give up. They discovered a third transformative option. They united under one guiding question: will it make the boat go faster? Every decision, every action was weighed against this mantra. If the answer was yes, they could, but would have to do it.
If the answer was no, it was forbidden, non-negotiable. Prior to the competition, this team was doubted and ridiculed, but no one knew what they had been doing. And once they hit the water, they were nearly unrecognizable, achieved their pinnacle, and won the gold. So we ask you,
what is your goal? What are you willing to do to achieve it?
Will your story feel unrecognizable, even to you? Are you willing to light your beacon and stay focused, stay committed? Is your story non-negotiable, or are you waiting to find out how you ranked? Your financial future is not a game. You are only competing with yourself and those in the boat with you, your family, and the many generations to come.
Will this make the boat go faster? A sounding alarm, a beacon of clarity amidst turbulent life decisions.
It's not just about speed, but direction, purpose, and an unwavering commitment. Every choice, every sacrifice aimed at the goal.
The first agreement this team made was to become fully self-directed, making their health their wealth, adopting a new perspective on their time and freedom, and the decisions they could fully control to reach their goal.
Will we make your boat go faster? That is our pledge to you. Our mission is to arm you with knowledge, strategies, and insights to ensure that not only you reach the goal, but you do so long before your race is over. Hey. Okay. Oh, people already know. I forgot to put the banner up because I was trying to troubleshoot the audio issues. Hashtag boat if you want to get in here to spin for the spin to win. And here's something cool while everybody's coming in. I don't know if you guys can see this. It is a self-directed poker chip. This is inside of the box that we're now giving away. And on the back of it is a compass. And it's just a little reminder, like, we gotta recalibrate our compass, but don't gamble with your time, right? That's why it's so important. And to remind you and kind of explain everything, we've got little cards, little reminders, little tidbits, little notes, little anchor thought moments that will help you keep them where you can see them. Stay focused on your goal. All right, we ready? We've got tons of people in here. I love it. Ready? Look at it, it's working. Tom's got a vision board box yet.
Congratulations, Tom.
Yep, Tom. So you know what to do. Let me see if I can find it. Go to selfdirected.info /live or /winner and fill out the form so that I know that you won the boat. It's still called the boat. It's the only one to get. Okay, we're gonna give one more away. I'm hoping somebody who hasn't gotten one yet. I guess not a lot of people have gotten Hey, Rob! Well, that's what's up. I am so in love with being able to share these with everybody, so it's a vibe. Go to selfdirected.info /live, even if you've done it before, so that we know that you're a new winner. And that helps me so I don't have to go find people. Anywho, it comes in a box like this. And it's got a bunch of stuff in here. And if you've been here for a while and you've heard the things that we talk about, all that's in there. And then we have our, I've been put some instructions in here. Like, it's an official thing, right, guys? Who've gotten it?
It's pretty dang dope when you finish.
It's an official thing. And the reason why we're doing this is just because in the beginning, I'm like, I don't know if people would really value this. I don't know if this is a thing we should do. But then we started to realize that this is part of our story. And it was this was like a catalyst to even just mindset shifts that were necessary in order for us to like really stay focused. Our oldest was saying, Justin, who helps us here in the back background of the stream. He was saying today when we were talking about somebody else was taking time off for work, like just to reset and recharge. He's like, you guys never take a day off. Never. Even tomorrow, there's time on his calendar for those who are working and this is their only day off, right? He's like, you guys never take a day off. Like, I don't know if it's admirable or if it's like unhealthy. Like, I don't know what to think about it. And the truth is, we don't have to recharge because this doesn't feel like work. Some days can be, busy, but we're so driven because we're so focused on our goal. We have our moonshot in our view at all times of like, what are we working for? What is the biggest impact that we could have? And what do we need to do those decisions along the way in order to do that? And we're still working on improving those, right? Like we're still a work in progress too. So we're just grateful for everybody who's joining us. And instead of waiting until we have hit our goal, right, and then talking about it, we're really just pulling people with us and saying like, come on. Don't wait for us to be done. Come now. Come with us. We can at least get you to where we are, right? To the results and the place that we are today, which is far more than what I would have ever put on any vision board when I first started. There was no possible way I would have put this on any vision board because I didn't believe it. And that's, I think, the biggest piece that I'm trying to address with not just myself, but with other people when I hear them talk about their goals or what's possible for them or what's enough, right? Is what do you believe about yourself? And first, you have to start assigning something different. You're worth it. And we're here to help you do it. So, okay, we've given away the boat. We have answered questions, I think. We have a ton of comments that I haven't even read, and I know you guys are going off in here. We were looking forward to reading them after the stream. We always do. I think that's it, right?
That's it. That's all I got.
Okay. Well, we like to end with, if you didn't come from a wealthy family,
you can make sure a wealthy family comes from you.
So stay tuned.
Stay connected.
Stay focused.
Stay protected.
I'm Angelique.
And I'm Donnell.
And our goal is to help you
get self-directed on this 4th of July.
And to do that, well, it's Financial Independence Day, right? Can we rebrand it? And to do that, we have a ton of free resources, so don't sleep on those. We will see you back here on Sunday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we really look forward to you jumping in the chat. We don't know who's watching unless you get in the chat, so we'll see you in there next time. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you Sunday. Hey, before you go, we want to remind you that becoming fully self-directed means gaining complete control over your wealth, time, and freedom. It's not just an idea. It's a framework, a mindset, and the power to make informed decisions to secure your future. Being here means you're taking those steps, and we want to thank you for allowing us to guide you. We believe that we grow farther and faster when we grow together. So tune in next time and tell a friend to tell a friend. We've helped thousands of people just like you start their journey to financial freedom. And if they can do it, you can too. And if you're ready to learn more, we got you. Get a head start by grabbing these 2 free books. But how do they get them, Donnell?
Head over to my website where you'll have access to a few things. A ton of free resources, case studies, and over 100 5-star reviews from people just like you. And in 15 minutes, we can explore what's possible for you. So don't wait.
Invest in what you want, when you want.
But first, let us help you get self-directed.